Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. If you remember, we have been talking about Unit 5, where we have discussed technology and gender inequality. In the first lesson, that was reading selection 5.1, right? It was about technology, where we have discussed in detail how technology is basically playing its major role in different fields that is making the life of human much more easier, right? So we have talked about it in detail. You will refer back to those lectures that are already available on your YouTube channel. We are going to talk about gender inequality. This is extremely important since we don't talk about it that much. It's a taboo topic also. Feminism is basically addressing these issues. So to make it a bit easier for you, the title of the lesson is reading selection 5.2 from the same Unit 5. Gender inequality is detrimental to society. Look at the title of the lesson. This title is basically, it's a claim. The title itself carries the claim. And the claim is that gender inequality is detrimental to society, right? So it means that we are going to talk about, or we are going to read an argumentative or a persuasive essay. The mood or the tone of the title is basically suggesting that there will be an argumentative essay behind this title, right? So I will be explaining the text of the lesson, and while explaining the text of the lesson, I will also focus on the very basic ingredients of a good argumentative essay, where we have introduction and then we have body and then conclusion. And remember, in introduction we used to have claims, or we used to call it thesis statement also. So I'm not going to discuss essay as a separate topic here. I just want you to focus on the text and realize, or just analyze the text in a way that how can you develop an essay, an argumentative essay of that sort, right? So throughout the essay, throughout the reading selection, I will be referring back to this thing, that this is how you are going to make a claim, this is how you are going to construct your thesis statement, and this is how you are going to develop this idea throughout your essay, and in this manner we can conclude that, right? So please open your books on page number 194. I hope you know the meaning of the word detrimental. One thing more, look at the title. Every content word is in capital letter. It begins with capital letter. So remember, whenever you write a title, excluding the connectors or the words that are not content words, they will be in small alphabet, right? While those content words will always be in capitals. See, G is capital here. We have I capital in inequality. We have D capital in detrimental, and S capital in society. Okay, so detrimental basically. Detrimental means dangerous, which is harmful, right? So gender inequality is harmful to the society. How? He is going to explain it in the essay. Page 194. World's population comprises of more than 50% women. He is giving you, or we used to say that in introduction you have to start with an interesting lead and then narrow it down to your topic. So he is not directly telling you that gender inequality is bad for the society. He is not hitting the bullseye in the very first sentence. He is giving you interesting lead. He is leading you towards the topic. How? In the very first line, as the writer said, world population comprises of more than 50% women. So it means that he is making the grounding for the claim. This is his claim, he is going to make it, but he is making the grounding for it. So this is a fact that the world population is it comprises of more than 50% women. Although women account for major portion of population, yet they have not been given equal rights. This is a fact, and the irony is, although they are in large number, still they are deprived of the very basic rights that are available to men. The same rights, the basic rights, human rights, which we used to call, they are not available to women. Now he is making the claim. Look at this next line. They have been kept deprived of enough education. This is your thesis statement. They have been kept deprived of enough education, health facilities and nutrition. So the writer is basically, he made the claim, and after making the claim, he is actually drawing a circle. He is giving you the sketch that is the end, that would be the top corner of my essay. I will not exceed from these limits. These limits will be that the writer will talk about the problem with women education, the problem with health facilities of women, and the problem with the nutrition of women, right? So broadly, he will be discussing these three main topics throughout the essay. Women are considered as fragile human beings, both physically and emotionally in our society. This is a common thought in the society that women are weak, fragile, they cannot do certain things that men are supposed to do. So this thought is very dominant in our society, that let them do a certain job, etc., and they can't do this thing and that, right? So he is basically leading you towards the body of the essay now. Look at the next paragraph on the same page 194. Women in many poor and underdeveloping countries lead a miserable life. Including Pakistan, the other developing countries, women are, they are leading a very miserable life. You will feel pity for them. In Pakistan, now he is coming to Pakistan because we are going to talk about the very society that we are living in. So he is talking about the Pakistani society. Women face many hurdles in the race of life. Same goes for Pakistan. Women in Pakistan face a lot of problems. They are not able to get proper education. In this paragraph, he will be talking about the education, right? As he mentioned in the thesis statement, he will be talking about the education. They are not able to get proper education. This is a claim. Now he is giving you the fact. Facts are about 70% of the population lives in rural areas. In Pakistan, 30% people lives in cities, while the rest of them lives in rural areas, villages, countryside. In most rural areas, there are only primary schools for girls in comparison to the schools for men who have high and higher secondary schools. With this issue, in rural areas, we have primary school for girls. No doubt there are primary schools for girls, but there are no middle, high and higher secondary school for women in rural areas as compared to men. For boys we have middle schools, high schools and higher secondary schools, but comparatively for women they are extremely low in number. As most of the population is illiterate and conservative, most of the population, Pakistani population we are talking about, they are illiterate, they don't have enough education, their parents are not educated, and also conservative. Because of this mullah philosophy, most of our people are quite conservative. So the parents do not send their daughters to school. And this is a very dominant thought in our society. We don't send our daughters, sisters to schools. That is why the ratio between male and female education is quite alarming. And that is the reason, this is one of the basic reasons, that the ratio between men and female education, it's alarming. For example, we have 54% male literacy rate. But if we check the literacy rate in women, it is below 40%. It is below, I think, 30%. I don't know the exact figure, but this is below 30%, which is, of course, alarming. Education is necessary if you want our nation and country to make progress. Education is the key. Knowledge is power. And if you want to compete America or Israel or any other nation across the world, look at them. The very first thing you will find in these societies that they are highly qualified, they are educated. So of course, education is extremely important for the progress and prosperity of a country and a society. It is said, if you educate a man, you educate an individual. But if you educate a woman, you educate a family. Now here is also a small trick. For example, if you don't know exactly who said these words, there are certain proverbs, etc. in the society, which is a very common buzzword. But if you don't know who said it, you can say that it is said, right? As we used to say in Urdu, "Aise kaha jata hai." So when you don't know exactly, the reference of a quotation, just say that it is said. So it is said that if you educate a man, you educate an individual. That is true. If I'm educated, I'm an individual and I'm an educated person. But if you educate women, you educate a family. So if the mother of your kids is educated, definitely and automatically she will brought up your kids in a way that they will be educated. So the education of a woman is basically the education of a family. But women in Pakistan are deprived of such facilities. Unfortunately, women in Pakistan are deprived. They have been kept deprived from these facilities. They have not been given equal opportunities to get education. This is very much true. Look at the ratio the difference in ratio in literacy between men and women. It is extremely alarming. It is extremely high, and that is why most of our women are illiterate. Men and women are as the two wheels of a cart, in which the function of one wheel depends on the function of the other. It's a simile, basically. It's a metaphor. He is actually comparing the relationship or to run a family with a vehicle. For example, if you want to run a bicycle or motorbike or a vehicle or a car, you need at least minimum two wheels for that, right? So he is basically telling you that if man is the one wheel, so woman is the other one, and you cannot make a bike move with one wheel. Definitely you have to have another also, and that another wheel is basically that woman. If one of the wheels is out of order, the other wheel cannot function well. Of course, if one of the important factor for the movement of your vehicle or motorbike, if that is out of order, definitely it is not going to work. Islam teaches its follower that seeking of knowledge is the duty of every Muslim, and also he has talked about the rights of women according to the Constitution. Now he is talking, or he is telling you that what our religion teaches us. Our religion teaches us that it is the responsibility of every Muslim to get education, right? So, but it is an irony of fate, unfortunately, that this golden saying has been totally neglected in the case of women. In the case of women, this very golden saying, it has been neglected brutally. This gender inequality is a violation of equal human laws and rules. And this difference in men and women is basically not only the violation of Islamic rules, it is a violation of the Constitution and international law as well. This is all about this lecture. I am going to end the lecture here. I will inshallah all see you in the next lecture tomorrow. Thank you very much.